there just wasn't a lot of alpha, or return, absolute return or idiosyncratic return in those names, the way that there was in other spaces. And so I remember, Dimitri, I worked directly for Dimitri Balyazny, and I remember he took me in his office one day and said, this China thing seems kind of interesting. Why don't you go figure that out? And I was like, what does that mean? And I found myself getting on airplanes with translators myself and going to Asia and, trying to figure out what supply demand looked like for metals and mining. And before I knew it, I had picked up that space, kind of out of I more lucky than good, I think is what the quote would be. But, if you research back in time in the early, to mid 2000s, what a time it was in that market with the Asia super cycle. And so that really is where my success began with basic material coverage.
So is that something like you're trying to predict basically commodity prices and stuff like that? Or what types of trades would you suggest to the firm? Like what types of idea generation were you doing? Was it all was it on the credit side, equity side, always equity? Like what were you doing day to day?
I've always been an equity analyst. So, and this is not too dissimilar from how I think about training people at Point 72 Academy. I think you have to be really deep in your industry first and just make sure people have proper context. When people deliver a pitch, you always want to make sure that you can tie it to the proper context, right? And the numbers have to tie to a narrative. And so I was always providing single stock idea generation, but it was always with the context of having the industry expertise or, trying to get to expertise.